before your run, everyone, or even a workout, everyone should be eating something. You can't expect a car to run without gas. Same thing with your body. You can't run without fuel. So it's super important. Your body needs.
Before we get into today's conversation, I want to thank the PLAY, which stands for Please Learn As You Education Corporation, for supporting the Erie Wellness Podcast and invite you to their back to school silent disco that they have coming up this month. As the new school year approaches, many young people, especially those in the LGBTQIA+ community, may experience increased anxiety, pressure, or uncertainty about returning to school this year. This upbeat, fun event is a reminder that every young person deserves to feel seen, celebrated, and supported by their community. Come join the fun on Friday, August 21st from 6 to 10 p.m. at the Overlook at Collier's Hill. Enjoy live sets, silent disco headphones, glow gear, food trucks, and LGBTQIA+ owned businesses and community resources. Come start the school year with a strong sense of belonging. Get your tickets at theplayedcorp.com/upcoming-events or through the link in this episode's description. Now let's get on to today's conversation. Welcome back, friends, to the Erie Wellness Podcast, where we explore a wide range of wellness topics, highlight the incredible local professionals right here in our community, and encourage you to advocate for your own health and well-being. Today, we're talking about what it means to become your own kind of runner. Today's guest, Char Griess, a certified run coach specializing in endurance, nutrition, strength, and even sports psychology. With 12 years of experience as a food scientist in the consumer packaged goods industry, Char brings an evidence-based yet practical approach to helping runners train with purpose, fuel well, and build confidence. Char has helped more than 100 athletes reach goals ranging from their very first finish line to major marathon breakthroughs. She's also an accomplished runner herself, completing 8 marathons. That's incredible. In this conversation, we'll explore running identity, comparison, fueling, recovery, and how runners can train their minds alongside their bodies. Char will also share more about her New York City Marathon performance project that is about to kick off and the role that community can play in helping runners reach their goals. Char, welcome to the Erie Wellness Podcast.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
I know that growing up, volleyball was your passion, and you ran your very first marathon in 2014. So running eventually became something that you got interested in. So can you take us back to your journey and how you got into running?
Yeah. Volleyball was like my first love growing up. I loved the team aspect, being surrounded by people that loved doing the sport. And I did one season of cross country, enjoyed it, but at that point, like my passion, my heart was in volleyball. And then more leisurely started running just for fun in college, signed up for my first half marathon once I graduated, and then eventually within about a year, signed up for a marathon. I didn't anticipate signing up for the marathon. I ran the Bayshore Marathon. It's up north in Michigan. And one of my friends was like, we should do the half. And I was like, okay, cool, let's do it. And I went to go sign up and it was sold out. She's like, well, it's sold out, so we should do the marathon. I was like, okay. So I did it. Signed up and didn't really know what I was doing. And I was like, cool, that was really hard. And I didn't fuel properly. Just like all the classic things that you do when you have no idea what you're doing. You don't know what you don't know. And I was like, cool, I'll do it once and be done. And then fast forward to now, I've ran 8. I'm running Sydney in August, about a month from now. So yeah, I've just really fell in love with it. I've learned a lot about myself from it and just has grown a ton of confidence. And it just, I don't know, it's just something that can kind of like give you purpose when there's like a lot of really confusing things in life where you're like, I have no idea what I'll be doing in 10 years from now or where specifically I'll be, but I know like running will be there always. And like whether I want to go for a run that day or whether I actually do isn't usually the question. It's just more about like that discipline that I've taught myself. And like, if I have a plan, I will do it, whether that's specific to running or just me as a person. That's like really what it's taught me, and something that I've like taken away from it that I've learned about myself.
Well, from going to, I'm just going to try this out and run. Well, what is a marathon? How many miles for just listeners who are like, I don't even know how many miles that is?
It's 26.2.
So what does the balance look like between like your own running and then now coaching people through running?
I would say like the balance has been way more doable now. And I recognize that is like very privileged to have that. Obviously owning your own business comes with its own stresses and different kinds of problems. I think life obviously will always have problems. It's just a matter of if you're choosing these problems more specifically or not, and how to deal with them. But yeah, now it's I'm a morning runner. I always will be. So in the summer, I'm waking up a bit earlier just because, one, it's lighter, and then two, it's hot. So I want to get this done because I am a baby when it comes to heat. So I'm doing the runs early. Usually when I get up, I'll do check-ins with athletes that have already completed their runs because I'm in mountain time zone. I have athletes all over the US. I have one in the UK, one in Canada. So time zones are kind of crazy, but usually I'll wake up and a handful of people will have completed their runs and check-ins. So I'll start that out, do my workout, and then come back and kind of continue on with the day. It looks different day to day, but again, like I kind of choose that based on like what's the top priority of the day. And that looks different day to day. I think like I've gotten to a really good spot where I enjoy the training. I enjoy the process, and that's been amazing because races are one day and it's really hard to count on one day when you can't control a lot of it. So the training and process itself has been awesome, and I just really enjoy it. So like that is also a huge goal of mine, is to make sure people are enjoying it. Certainly there's not every run's going to be great. If it was, I feel like it would definitely lose its magic, but for the most part, you should be having fun.
So what would you say you have a wide range of runners. What would you say, are they recreational runners? Are they, all marathon runners? Like what type of people are you getting to contact you and say like, help me with this?
Yeah, a wide variety as far as like goals or distances. I would say marathons are popular. They're very popular right now. And that is in a very niche, I guess, headspace of what I'm seeing. Obviously, it may be for like the general person, marathoning is not of the norm, but with the people I'm working with, it's very popular and kind of the big goal that a lot of people have right now. My number one goal to work with people is to make sure they recognize themselves as athletes and runners, I guess all encompassing. But because I think once they realize like, oh, I am doing this running thing, I have this huge goal, I am an athlete, I think you start to like embody that a little bit more, and it becomes more of the routine. It becomes less negotiable.
How do you help people build confidence in their own identity as a runner?
Running is like really simple. At the end of the day, it's left foot, right foot. But there are a lot of things that kind of support it. And I think having that well-rounded approach as a runner keeps you confident, keeps you strong, keeps you durable. It's very mental. I read a thing earlier today that said running is physical, but racing is mental, and 100% believe that. But it's also true. I think running is also mental enough, the fact that you have to trust your body and you have to build confidence in that in the first place. When I have athletes do workouts during the week or the weekend, so typically like they'll have easy runs and then they'll have speed workouts. The speed workouts I feel are the key to unlocking confidence in running within yourself and like the goals you set for yourself. Goals are a lot of the time-based, which is great and awesome and pushes us. But I think also like you adjusting for effort helps with that and helps kind of trust yourself and boost your ability to make decisions and confidence in yourself in that way. Each time an athlete goes and does a workout that on paper they see is like super scary and they think, I don't know how I'm going to complete this. This pace is crazy. I don't know what she's thinking. Maybe these are thoughts that they're having. And then they go and do it. They're boosting their confidence. Maybe they know it. Maybe they recognize it. Maybe they don't. But they're boosting their confidence in themselves, of their ability to do the workouts, to do the hard thing, to complete it. And maybe they had more in the tank than they realized. Understanding like the athlete's history of of running? Are they brand new? Like, let's take the time, because running's awesome. And the fact that you can build your aerobic base for over 10 years, but you have to be purposeful and intentful, and you have to allow yourself the time and have patience to get there. I know like we're in just this world where we want like quick, we want satisfactory results. We want to like be able to see on paper that we can do it before we do it type thing. But with running, it's a lot of like trusting the process and also giving yourself the time to get there. I think periodizing your training is important. I think giving yourself off seasons is important, because at the end of the day, like, we're not being paid to do this. At least most people aren't. So enjoying your life, having fun in other areas, and then also changing up the distance can be really fun. Summer, I think 5Ks, miles, like shorter distances can be fun. It makes people be like, oh my gosh, this reminds me of like maybe they did do cross country or track in high school, and they're like, it brings back those memories, which can be super fun and something they forgot about. So
right. So how do you build individualized running plans for all of your different clients?
Yeah. I don't do group training. It's all individual, to the athlete, to the person, meeting them where they're at if they're brand new to me, based on like how many days a week, what mileage they're at weekly, things like that. So that's all taken into account.
What are some questions that you ask like people who are like, I'm ready to sign up? Like, what are some things you want to make sure you know about them before that happens?
I love to know kind of what I said. I love to know where they're at. How many days a week are they running? Are they running right now? What are their goals? What are their short-term goals, long-term goals? I think it's important to know that like off the bat, as you get to know someone more and help them really form the why, is maybe changes the goals a little bit. And then I love to know, like, obviously what their schedule allows for. Do they have races on the calendar? Because obviously that's important. Like, is there something they're working towards or we need to be working towards? And then understanding strengths, probably more so than weaknesses. I'm a big believer in leaning into your strengths. I think we all have weaknesses. And when it comes to running, when I say that, I mean, what parts of your body do you need to work on weaknesses so that way an injury doesn't come up or some soreness doesn't come up? So like strength training can be super important. I think understanding like the mental side of it too. What do they struggle with? How do they need more of a lighter approach? Do they need the tough love? Do they need to be held super accountable? Are they a person that wants the data? Do they want to know why? I like to know as much as I can, I guess, about a person, because it can be kind of scary, I'm sure, to start with a running coach to really understand of like, what am I really going to get out of this, right? Like, there's a million plans you can find online, but the coach piece of it helps bring accountability. I think it helps bring the support. And then also I'm there to like answer any questions. Social media is crazy with running right now. It's awesome because there's so many people running, but it can get confusing to a lot of people. Like, I have no idea if I trust this person or should I, or this is this person's experience, but I don't really know where this is coming from. So I hope to be like that person that can help answer these questions of anything they're seeing online or just have questions about, or maybe they don't know what they don't know. So I try to share like as much of my information or what I have as possible.
What would you say are the common questions that you get?
Huge ones are the long run, like, should this long run be X miles when it comes to the marathon? Like, should I be running over 20 miles? Or can I get to, I ran, like maybe someone's ran 40 mile at their peak week in their last marathon block. Can I run X amount more this block? It's usually about what else can I do? Which I think people don't love to hear. The answer is like, more is not going to always be the answer, especially with running. It's a huge impact on your body. Not to say that it's bad for you, bad for your knees or anything like that. It's just a huge impact. So you have to allow your body the time to adapt. Our bodies are built to adapt, but we have to give them the time, and the recovery can be probably equal, if not more important, especially as you're getting older. That sleep aspect is the number one thing. And so when you're working, when you have a family or friends or relationships, and then you have training and strength and maybe PT, and you also have to eat and cook, that becomes a lot. Just running more simply isn't always the answer. So I think emphasizing the fact that everything works together and a lot of it is just doing the boring things, even when you don't want to, sticking to the plan, finding a plan that you can be consistent with, and then executing and trying to stay as positive as possible throughout it.
Right. So let's talk a little bit about, so we've talked about the running, let's talk about the strength training, and then I do want to get into the recovery and the fueling, that kind of like aspect of it. So if I'm going to be running, like, do I need to be strength training too?
Yes. Yeah. And this can look different. Like I said, everything, like everyone's very different as far as like how their body responds, what they need. But yeah, I think it's definitely key to staying a durable / resilient runner, because like I said, the impact is hard. So you want to make sure your foundation is strong at its core. All of us have weaknesses. So like, it's about understanding what that looks like, building your toolkit whenever something does come up to strengthen those areas. I'm a run coach. I'm not a PT, so I don't prescribe that if someone's injured or having soreness or pains pop up. But I always think like having a team of people can be super helpful. It helps take the questions out of like, okay, wait, this popped up, or all of the sudden my knee hurts when I do this, or whatever it may be. Having someone that can help identify the root cause is definitely important, because it is a high impact sport and we're asking a lot of our bodies. So to strengthen it is super important, especially as you age. It gets harder to build that muscle, and the muscle helps keep your body strong as you get older. So the sooner people can incorporate it, the better. And at least from what I'm seeing, it seems like there's no longer these like myths of lifting makes you bulky type feel.
Right.
It's cool to be strong. It's something that is super important, and also empowering in a different way than running. I offer it as a resource as well. I'm certified for strength and conditioning, so I have different programs and also adapt to the athlete. It's just a matter of like what works for them, and also like, let's build you a schedule that you can be consistent with, because the consistency over time is going to be what matters.
We're going to take a quick break from today's episode to hear a word from one of our sponsors. Additional support for today's episode comes from Bridge Refill Market, Erie's local refill shop, helping families reduce waste one refill at a time. As of May 2026, the community has helped save over 28,440 containers from the landfill through refills at the shop. From laundry detergent and dish soap to organic bulk foods and personal care products, you can bring your own containers and refill only what you need. Learn more at bridgerefill.com. Now let's get back to today's conversation. Okay, so now let's talk. Do you want to talk about fueling your body or the recovery part? Maybe fueling, and then we can get into recovery.
Perfect. Yeah.
Okay, so given your food science background, like what are some important things that you like to talk about with your runners about fueling properly?
Yeah, if I have an athlete that starts with me with fuel coaching, the biggest thing we talk through first is like, let's see what you're doing now. Are there areas of opportunity? The biggest thing is, to me, is like pre, intra, and post. So before your run, everyone, or even a workout, everyone should be eating something. You can't expect a car to run without gas. Same thing with your body. You can't run without fuel. So it's super important. Your body needs carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are great, especially for runners. Really, all humans, it's an energy source. What are they having before? Are they having enough before their run? Also, like the timing, people's stomachs and how they digest food, especially before a run, is very different. I have, like, myself, I can eat pretty much 15 minutes before I go for a run. That is not the case for, honestly, most people that I work with. So that timing is important. And then intra running. So any run, anytime someone's running for over 70 minutes, fueling during the run is going to be important. So that way you are refueling those glycogen stores with carbs. So gels, or maybe it's a liquid beverage that they're sipping on throughout the workout, depending on the distance. That's another super important piece of it. And then post run, within an hour, or even, I guess I should just say post workout, within an hour that you should be having carbohydrates and protein. People are super highlight the protein maybe a little more than we should if we're running, especially training for a marathon. The carbs should be still the majority of what you're getting in post run. I usually like to think of it as around like 3 to 1 to 4 to 1 carbs to protein type ratio. So
Mhm.
that is like the biggest thing, because that'll help kickstart your recovery. The muscles will start to repair. Your glycogen stores will start to refuel themselves. So then you're ready for the next session. And like when you are training a lot or running a lot, your body needs to kind of constantly be refueling those, so that way you have enough energy for the next one.
What are your favorite carb sources?
Ooh, for me, pre-run, I usually always do sourdough. And then toppings kind of just depends on what kick I'm in. I actually did just get some English muffins last weekend, so I've been having those this week, but love sourdough, love all forms of bread. For pre-run, like the night before, I've been really into rice, and then like chicken, zucchini, and then like a boatload of soy sauce, just for the salt and the sodium, because I've been sweating a lot. But I love pizza. I also have been on a really big banana bread kick for post run. Yeah, those are my favorites, I would say, right now. I love pizza. I just got a pizza tattoo, actually.
Oh, no way.
So pizza is like my favorite food in general, and it has carbs for sure. Favorite pizza in Boulder is Pizzeria Alberico. It's like that Italian style with like the soft, big, fluffy, chewy crust, and then it's like thinner. And the toppings are phenomenal. So love it. And then during runs, my favorite gels, and like if my athletes ever ask me, it's a brand called Amex, AMACX, and I have yet to find someone say it upset their stomach. Some people just find it's like kind of too intense a flavor, but it's like a thin texture, so you don't have like a sticky gel type experience. It reminds me of like a melted popsicle. So those are my ride or die for during runs.
So where do you see people overcomplicating like their eating and fueling routines?
I guess just one of the big things in general is, especially when you're running, like you need the fuel. A lot of the times it's going to be quick fuel. So just something to stay away from, I think, is like number one, like don't label food as good or bad. I think that can just create like a tough relationship with it in general. And also processed, because I think people don't realize like a lot of like pretty much everything you eat is processed. Baby carrots are a form of processed food. It goes through a process to create it. And I just feel like there's a lot of fear with that kind of labeling of foods. And when you're running, like I said, you need a lot of the times quick fuel. If you have like, people are busy, so having quick options is super important and going to be a bigger deal than going long term under fueled as a runner. You start to like get into this like scary situation. So yeah, I think just like overcomplicating the fact of like, if it's real food or if it's whole ingredients or good or bad, like that, I think I just wish was like minimized a little bit more, and more emphasis on like, am I eating enough? Am I getting enough fuel in to meet the demands of like what I'm asking of my body to run 5, 6, 7 hours a week? Like that's a lot.
Yeah.
So I think just like understanding that the fuel, just like running, like has a purpose, and the food, it's food at the end of the day, and it should be enjoyable.
What would you say are some of the signs that people are under fueling?
If you are constantly fatigued, if your heart rate's elevated, if you wake up in the middle of the night starving, those are like really big red flags, I would say. It just can get to a kind of a scary place where it takes a really long time to heal from that if you eventually get to a red situation. So yeah, I think just like if you start to notice little signs of that, I think staying ahead of it. Also understanding how your blood panel of your body is, because I know iron can be like a big thing that people are deficient in. You're living at altitude. If they're a woman, they have a cycle. If they're sweating, like those are all forms of where you may lose more iron. You will lose more iron through sweat than most people. So understanding your iron or ferritin levels is really important too. I've definitely was in a situation where I lived here for quite a while and was like, I'm really tired all the time. So I got my blood tests done, and my iron and ferritin were super, super low. So I started taking a supplement. I was a pescatarian, so I wasn't eating red meat. I now eat red meat again, and it's kind of solved it. So that's been nice, I guess.
Well, let's talk about hydrating then, since you just mentioned it. So Like, how much water are you supposed to drink so you're not like peeing a ton on the race? Like, what's the balance there?
Yeah, race morning, I always tell my athletes, like, cut it off about an hour before if you're someone that tends to, like, have a panic pee situation,
Mhm.
maybe, like, a little bit before that, but, again, it's a training. You have to wake up early enough to get that fuel in, get the hydration in, but then specific to a race, like, staying hydrated the week of, will go a long ways, especially if it's the summer, or a hot race. So, hydrating with water and then electrolytes as well, because we are losing a lot through our sweat. And
Mhm.
race morning, I kind of cap it. Like, I would say it depends on the person, but like 16 ounces morning of.
Okay.
Again, you should be hydrating the day before, the week of, leading up to it, to kind of stay in this good spot. When you have a carb load situation, you also have to hydrate more, because
Mhm.
the carbs need water. But then kind of drinking to thirst throughout the race is important as well.
So I think sometimes when it comes to running, being productive doesn't always mean that you're going to be doing more. So can we even talk a little bit about like sleep and like what that looks like as a part of the training routine?
Yeah, like I said, with recovery, it can be just as important, if not more important, when you're asking a lot from your body. So doing more, again, doing more doesn't always equal more results.
Mhm.
So sometimes it's like taking a step back and zooming out and looking at everything as a whole. So whether it's how you're eating and fueling, how much water and like hydration you're getting in, what does your strength routine look like? Is it consistent? Are you doing a proper warm up before your run? Is the run purposeful? So if it's an easy run, is it truly easy? Right now we're in the thick of summer and I feel like it's hot everywhere. So
Mhm.
dialing the pace back will for sure happen. Like, the fall will be magical. Like, I promise everyone it will be. So I think slowing down in summer can be super helpful, just because like your body doesn't know pace. It knows how hard it's working. And then to cap it all off, the sleep is super important. It's the number one recovery tool. There's tons of things you can invest in and outside of sleep, and have different tools and things to recover. But sleep at the end of the day is going to be the number one thing for your body. It's when your muscles will have the best time to repair, even your brain, because running is pretty mental as well. So like giving yourself that time and like having, that be a non-negotiable of like when you go to bed, when you wake up to do the run, and like making sure that is sufficient for you and what you're asking. Um,
Mhm.
I've kind of always been a morning person and I always go to bed early, but that could be hard for someone who isn't used to that. So just kind of identifying like what works for them in their schedule. I have people run after, I have athletes that run after work too. So, just making sure they're still getting like a good enough time to like eat at night and then go to bed and then be ready for the next day it can go a long ways.
So, one thing that you said to me during our initial call was your brain can be trained for this. So, what do you mean by that? And how can runners start to strengthen the mental side of their training before they reach that difficult moment in a race day where they're just wanting to give up?
Yeah. Yeah, no, the brain is a muscle. You can train it, you can change it. Obviously, if you grew up playing sports and kind of had this like strong mentality and like got yourself in a really good spot, then that's awesome, because you're probably 10 steps ahead from someone who didn't do that. Because
Mhm.
you can adapt a lot quicker when you're younger, but you can still do it as an adult. It just takes practice. Like, you can't expect to go on a run, be super negative every single week, and then show up on race day and be this positive person, right? So like practicing it just as you do, like taking it just as serious as you do the training, can is what's going to help you on race day. Where I think like the biggest thing is like where your brain goes when it gets really hard in training is exactly where it will go in a race. It's
Mhm.
going to get hard. Like running is hard. It just is.
Mhm.
And then racing is harder, because it's just a lot more at stake that day, and that can feel kind of high pressure. But I think like putting yourself in that race atmosphere can help take like some of the load off mentally on that. Is like you don't make it's not such a big deal, and the fact that you overthink it, because I feel like the best races do truly happen when you're not thinking so much. But you have to
Mhm.
get your brain to like go there. So like go there in training, try to stay positive. Like if your workout feels really hard today, like that's okay. Pace actually doesn't matter. It's your effort. So like, are you giving your best effort based on what's the purpose of the run? So being super like intentful and purposeful and understanding the why of like why you're doing these runs can go a long ways too. But yeah, there's a lot. There's so many good running books. I'm obsessed with all of them. I'm reading Elite Minds right now, and I'll do a weekly to monthly. It's been the summer, so I feel like I've been chaotic, but I'll share recaps with my athletes of like different chapters and like tools they can use that week to help with that. But there's a lot.
What are some of the tools? I mean, is it visualizing yourself in the run?
Yeah.
Is it like journaling? What are the things that you would say are the tools or things you should be doing for that?
Yeah. A lot of it is like asking yourself the questions, checking in, like really being purposeful. So as you're getting ready to go out the door that morning, like ask yourself, what's the purpose of this run? Like, what do I want to get out of it? What would future me be proud of for this run? Ask yourself these questions as you're like eating or tying your shoes, whatever it is, or warming up. And then during the run, like recheck in with yourself with those same questions. Like, am I doing it? Or am I getting my ego in the way and like trying to go faster than yesterday or last week or something? Or am I just worried about my overall pace for Strava? Like, let's make sure we understand what's going on in the run. And then after run, reflect on it. Those can be good tools for training, but for hard workouts and racing, I think mantras are super helpful. Like anything that gets your mind not so fixated on the hurt can be helpful. So repeating mantras over and over in your head. Right now, my favorite one that I've been using is I'm fast, I'm fit, and I'm getting fitter, because I have had to like really believe in myself a lot right now, just because it's hot and hard and it's summer. So that's been like flipping things for me. And it kind of takes your brain off of the fact that like, oh, maybe my pace isn't exactly where I want it to be today, but like, that's okay. Like I'm thinking about this new mantra in my head and saying it over and over again. Or looking, if you are doing a distance, like a specific distance, just looking ahead to the next like street light, be like, okay, no, I'm going to keep pushing for the 10 more seconds it takes to get to that street light, or the next point of interest on your run. My coach told me one the other day of like, think about the parts of your body that do feel really good and strong in that moment. Like maybe your arms are like feeling really good and like a good form, or maybe they're not. And you're like, oh, whoa, let's like recheck that. And that helps you like all of a sudden feel better because you're no longer flying around like this or something, or hunched over. So I think just like bringing yourself to the present in a way that takes your brain off of going to the questions that you don't want to be asking, like, wait, why am I even doing this? What if I just stop right now? Like that kind of thing.
No, those are all really great points. I did have a question that came out when you were talking, you mentioned Strava. So what are some like running apps that you recommend that people have? Maybe their mindset, maybe they're just like documenting your run and your distance, but what are the ones that you recommend? Or use?
Yeah, I use Strava more for my log. Like it's cool to see the graph of like, especially in a marathon training block, like all the work I've done, the progress I've done. My coaching is through VDOT. So that's what I use for my athletes. I think it's super straightforward. It gives you great data, but not too much where you're like, I don't know what to do with this. I have a Garmin too, so like that comes with an app. But yeah, I think it's just, yeah, VDOT can be pretty great. But yeah, I know like there's good and bad on every app, right? Like Strava can get a little crazy with like the comparison of seeing other people. So I think it's just like a healthy balance of like not letting yourself go down that route. And even with social media, like whether you realize it or not, like you are being influenced or you are comparing probably when you're seeing other runners or paces or workouts. But I think just like recognizing that and not falling into the trap of like comparing yourself to their journey, because it's different than yours and it's you versus you.
Right. Well, you're like, okay, I know that comparison is normal. That's like a very normal human behavior, but what am I doing with that comparison? And is it really like helping me or just like tearing me apart inside? So
yeah. And then like, it's cool to see other people succeed. everyone can reach their goals, and it doesn't take away your goals.
We can both be winners, especially in running.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone just has
Yeah.
like whatever their personal goal is. It's not like someone wins or loses. So
Yeah. I ran a race when I was back in Michigan, and there was a 5K that I did. And there was a guy in the first mile, he was like right behind me. And then for the second mile, he kind of went ahead of me, and he's like, all right, let's go. And it was like, he was signaling to me, okay, I'm going to take this mile. And that was really cool, because in the moment I was like, whoa, now he's going to do the work. Like, obviously I still had to do the race. Working together was like, that was a really cool experience. What's fun about races is way different than a training run where you go log the miles by yourself. And races, you get to like work together on it.
okay, so before we get into your performance project and how people can get involved, I did want to ask the listener question that we got for today's episode. And it was, how can you save your knees when it comes to running? Because I think that's a high like misconception, is that like running just ruins your knees.
Yeah. Like anytime you tell like a random family member, they're like, oh my gosh, what about your knees? Yeah, definitely. I would say like a very common misconception about running, being smart about it. You wouldn't go jump into the weight room your first time ever lifting and try to bench press your body weight, right? So like same thing with running. If you're just starting out, like let's get into a walk run where you do intervals of like walking to running. And then once you do that a few times, you increase that distance, because it is high impact. It's a lot you're asking of your body when you are running. It's about 2 to 5 times, 2 to 10 times, depending on your pace or speed, your body weight. So it's for sure a big impact. But like I said, with everything else, it's like, what are you building? Like, are you strength training to create this like durable body that can handle it? What does your stride or gait look like? Are you overstriding? That can be like where a lot of injuries pop up if you're someone that overstrides. So there's a lot of like local places too that can do a gait analysis that can be super helpful of like finding the weaknesses, finding the inefficiencies and working on them. Everyone will have a natural running gait that's not going to be 100% efficient. That's just the reality. But it's about like, where can you work on weaknesses to help improve that? And then hopefully we're avoiding these things where knees become a thing. And then also just like the basics of like, how do your running shoes look? Are they falling apart? Do we need to get a new pair? How many miles have you logged on them? You asked about the app, or the apps with running. Strava has a feature, I think Garmin does as well, where you can put in your running shoe, and then when you do runs, you can make sure you're checking off what shoe you're wearing, or if it's the same shoe, and you can keep track of the mileage. So maybe sometimes like people will need those reminders of like, get a notification when it hits X amount of miles, and that can be a good sign to
Time
go.
to get a new pair of shoes. Yeah.
I think a lot of the times everyone feels it before that too. Like you'll start to realize the foam is going to lose its pop and comfortability too.
Alrighty. So I love what you're doing in terms of getting people like on board and like really the accountability piece, the feeling of like you're in a group. So can you talk a little bit about the New York City Marathon Performance Project that you've started up for this? It's a fall marathon, correct?
Yeah. November 1st is the race. So yeah, we've kicked things off. It's a small group. I'm piloting this for this year's New York Marathon. As a coach, I want to provide something where I can be impactful and provide more of like the whole race experience, if you will. And so this is my pilot of that, of like, let's figure out how I can give the runner or the athlete the best experience possible with their race and with their goal. So I chose New York. It's an iconic race. It's a tough race. So I thought this would be a really good one to try and encompass everything from fueling, recovery, cross training, the mental aspect of it, and then getting kind of more of like a close-knit group where we have special calls that like pertain to those subjects. Obviously the running is a part of it as well. And then I will also be there on the race weekend. So having like that contact and getting to like see people in person, I feel like is going to be super awesome. And the group will get to meet each other as well. So yeah, it's been super fun to like get this kicked off and learn a lot from the process as well. We'll have, I guess with the fueling piece too, it's a sponsored kit. So with Amex, they get a ton of products to try out, hopefully to carry them through all training, because I know running is not the cheapest sport. So the fuel is something that like can be super expensive. So I know can be a little intimidating of like, what do I actually need? So they've gotten the kit for that. That includes a ton of products. And then we'll also have a call with the company, and they'll bring in their nutritionist. We'll get to talk about a lot of cool things. They'll get to ask like hopefully really good questions and learn a lot from that. But yeah, it's just a really cool way to hopefully bring together people from all over the country or wherever they're at to this specific race, and like being more specific, because each race brings their own nuances for sure.
So what exactly do people get? So they sign up for it. They get the weekly run plans. Do they get strength training, like workouts as well?
Yep. So everything included from the run coaching itself, that's going to always be what you get with me. The strength training specific to this course. New York's a very hilly course, so we want to work on like all the things to get your legs, get your body ready for that. We also, within the running, have like elevation goals to hit. It's not just like specific runs, but like how much are we getting throughout the week to work towards that and build up that resiliency with the hills and strength with the hills. It's also the mental side of it. So a lot of our calls will be pertaining to like these tools that we've talked about, but going into more detail. They'll get to ask whatever questions they have based on like things they worry about or struggle with, because everyone is definitely different. And then the fueling. So we'll figure out what their performance like fuel is as far as like pre, intra, post, specific to training, specific to the race. And then they also are gifted with the kit. So it comes with a boatload of gels, recovery products, and hydration. So they're getting all of the things to help them really like set them up for success with that too. And then I'll be there. So race weekend support, and yeah, a lot of like fun other things along the way.
Oh, I love that you're building like this run community for anyone who's interested, because a marathon is a big deal. It's a lot of work. So to have like a group to do it with and a coach to help you through it, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, marathons are awesome and hard, and it's cool to like have everything come together and realize like all the things you do to like work towards the one day, and that can mean something totally different to someone else. So I think like bringing people together on that, and like maybe that inspires someone else in a different way, where they could be really struggling on a certain week with training, but then they're getting this other perspective of this other person's training. And I think that can like just honestly help pick you up when you need it, because you get tired for sure. And I think just however you can pull in like inspiration or get motivated can be really helpful.
What are some other local things that you're doing just to build like a running community here?
I just am wrapping up a July track series that I've done in Lafayette at the middle school there. It's easier in the summer because school's not in session. But yeah, so throughout the month of July, I've met up on Thursdays with whoever wanted to come, free to anyone, to take them through a speed workout. With the goal in mind of we're doing a time trial, 5K time trial on Thursday. So this week, so to wrap up July and all the hard work we were working towards this 5K. So Thursday will be that. And then we've had some really cool opportunities with that, where New Balance has come and done demos with shoes. So people will come, the shoes are there. If they want to try, they get to try them, wear them for the workouts. And then that helps, I think, understand, like give you an understanding if you like the shoe or not, which has been awesome. And then at the actual 5K, we'll do some raffles and giveaways, obviously, as incentive too. But it's just fun. I think the summer is a good time to like work on speed. And I was not part of track when I grew up. So like the track was super intimidating to me. So I wanted to bring this to whoever wanted to come and like hopefully break down those walls of like the track doesn't have to be scary. For sure, it's still hard work and that's the goal. But that it doesn't have to be a thing you avoid. It can be like a really solid tool. You just have to kind of get comfortable with it, like anything.
Well, Char, thank you so much for joining me today on the Erie Wellness Podcast and sharing your experience and encouragement with us. I hope this conversation inspires every listener to embrace their own kind of runner, whatever that may be, and feel more confident, fueled, and purposeful along the way. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode, and follow along on social media at the Erie Wellness Podcast. Thanks again, Char, for being here.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. This is awesome.
All right, friends, before we wrap up, here's the part I need to share. This podcast is for educational and inspirational purposes only. I'm just your friend behind the mic. Nothing shared on this podcast creates a patient relationship with any of our guests or replaces the guidance of your physician, professional coach, or other qualified expert. And the views shared by guests are entirely their own and don't necessarily reflect the beliefs or values of the Erie Wellness Podcast. My goal is to simply create a space for real, open conversations that help us all learn, grow, and feel a little more connected on our wellness journeys. Thanks so much for listening. I'll see you back here next time.